Hey, everybody. Welcome to Growing Up Chestnut. Mike is out today with a bad back. I'm getting over the flu, COVID, and I'm here today with my kids. So enjoy. Yeah, I coughed on Jamie with oxygen. Just
She deserves it.
Mom goes, thank you. Jamie goes, thank you, Mom. Jamie said,
She
thank you.
deserves it.
She's like my mom because she bosses me.
Jamie is
Right.
Well, welcome everybody. We're here with Wes, Brooke, and Jamie, and Mike is out, pulled us back. Yeah, I don't have to hear about how all his junk stuff.
He
So
does that
anyway,
a lot lately.
Yeah, he's always bragging and stuff.
He's so fragile.
Yeah, but anyway, so we wish him luck. We're going to
now.
pray for him, and but anyway, we're here, and I guess my kids are going to. We're going to talk about we were on the road for 10 years on evangelism. Maybe a little bit longer than that. And also, they were preachers.
We're going to air all our
2
grievances.
churches that we that their dad pastored. So grievances.
Yeah, we got a lot
But
of them.
anyway, so we're going to start out, and Wes is going to pretty much lead this thing because
I'm gonna lead it. I didn't agree to any of this.
You
Notice
said
she
so.
didn't offer me or Brooke to lead it.
No, she didn't.
No, I
She
would
didn't.
Brooke before you. Any of them but you, please.
No, so we did a takeover
Yesterday.
Yes,
in
yesterday.
the last episode, right?
Last Thursday, we all saw it Thursday. Mike had his back still out. I was sick,
and you couldn't figure out how to get on.
I was trying to get in.
Figure out how to get on. It was great.
Yeah, my phone
it was
is
a great
lost.
experience for everybody.
So the kids just took a hostile takeover. So I hope you enjoyed that.
It was hostile.
It was hostile. But anyway, so anyway, I'm excited because we haven't had Brooke on before. I haven't. She was on last week, and I was not there. But we got her this week, and we're not going to make the baby. She's got a baby. We might hear kids.
There's Koi. Huh?
So Jamie needs to be quiet. So there he is.
Yeah, Koi joined us.
He's like, what's going on?
Ian and Bia's poked in, and Ziggy.
Dude, that was not a good look for me.
That is like, would that woman shut up? But he's going to learn what Gigi is, and that's
yeah. Well, last week we did the takeover. Last week we talked about some of our favorite people and some of our most embarrassing moments. So I think maybe some of those same questions would be helpful. Isn't that right? Yeah. See, he agrees. He agrees.
He's going to take a hospital.
And there's the show right there.
I'm gone now. I'm just going.
So I know he's got that Carrie.
All y'all kids have those eyebrows, and they're all like, and I can do it like stick them way up in their eyebrows. Or
he loves his mama. Anyway,
that's one thing I don't do with my kids. Kiss them on the mouth. I can't do that.
It's the beer.
It's
the beer.
Beer.
I don't. Yeah.
Well,
Mom just made me an alcoholic, is what she did. So no, I don't like. Yes. I can't do that with my kids. It's just.
My brother Greg used to always say when he grows up,
you're just not as good a parent as me.
Yes.
I'm gonna start calling him Bobblehead.
Yes. Well, he's just very like, who are these people?
Yeah, only 4 months.
He's not awake yet. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But on our.
What about? So we talked about embarrassing moments, like our most embarrassing moments.
Well, I'm going to tell you about one of mine. I'm at a church.
Okay, that's usually where they happened.
I'm at a church, and the kids say, I have a kid come up to the mom I'm talking to and say, hey, can I have a quarter? What do you need a quarter for?
What she's telling them.
Oh, yeah. Well, she wanted us to tell this last week.
The Carrie fan club.
Yeah.
The Carrie Kid fan club, yeah.
I said, what? The Carrie Kid fan club.
No, it's not a good story.
Not the Brantle kids. The Carrie kids, not the Brantles. But anyway, so I'm like, what? And I told the kids, I'll talk to you guys about this later. And I said, no, you don't. You can join for free. I don't remember what it said.
Join for free.
So then I had forgotten about it. And I don't know if this is like a week later or even maybe same week. So we're in the van.
The same day.
And the kids said, can we go get some ice cream? We're like, we don't have the money to go get ice cream. If you can come up with the money to go get ice cream, we'll get ice cream with us. So Jamie pulled out a big old tin thing, because that's what I used to do. I always had change in a 10 thing. They go 10 with money in it. And
That's a lot of
I
quarters.
said, "Where did you get this?" And she said, "The Fairy Kid Fan Club."
You know about it. We told
They
you.
did.
You learned about that last week, Mom. Come on, catch up. Right?
Dudes, Long story short, I mean, I was like so embarrassed. Now I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And
we didn't get to go get ice cream. We had to take the money and donate it to a missionary.
That's a good thing.
We didn't get ice cream.
So essentially,
we were
what happened
missionaries.
is
We
Mom,
were missionaries, exactly.
Mom crushed our entrepreneurial spirit. Right
I know.
Yeah.
You guys
Right.
We had a lot of members.
The American
We
dream.
got a lot of money in
out
there.
the
I can't
window.
remember. How much money was in there?
I don't even know. That was a lot.
It was a lot.
So
I mean,
no.
that
So
was
here's the
3
thing, because we
years.
talked about this last week. I didn't even know that there was a 10 or how many members or how much money there was. I only knew of like 2 people that joined and 50 cents that we had.
Oh.
That's because you didn't have very many fans, Wesley.
No, you always come on. Wes was always in the dark.
Wesley was in charge of security.
I was oblivious. I was in charge of what?
security.
Yeah, with my 60-pound self. Yeah.
No, you were. Remember? And then
No,
you made security
no.
cards for all, and it was
We also did
you.
that for Valley. You were the security guard at Valley.
We
Oh,
also
yeah.
had
Well,
we also had business
a
cards.
long
Present capital.
career in the security industry I've had.
Yes.
A very long career.
Well, that helped you in being a Green Beret. I mean, just
Right? Yeah. Because
Yeah.
good training. Good training.
being a 6-year-old security guard at Valley
You're not
Baptist
even
Church is what
intelligent.
prepared me
You're
for
not
being a
even
Green Beret.
intelligent enough to do the dishes.
What? That is not
You
nice.
know.
That's not nice.
So that was Mom's most embarrassing moment. That's what
I don't
she's
think
claiming
that is
to
mom.
be.
I can
don't
tell you
know.
embarrassing.
I think
moments of
Mom
moms.
is. I think
How about
Mom's.
the time where
Mom
mom
doesn't
I'm
got,
gonna tell you some
story.
of my favorite stories.
how about
because
the time
we
where
laughed all
mom's
night
heel,
of
when
it.
your heel got stuck in your skirt and you fell straight down into Vicky Barnett's arms off
Well,
the
Vicky
stage?
was looking out for me.
Thank God for Vicky Barnett.
Well, we were
I
talking.
don't remember this.
Let's been talking about because we hadn't been evangelists very long.
No, it was like our first camp meeting.
Yeah, and I had this beautiful skirt and these shoes that matched it. Had the high hair, the makeup. I was really going. I went. That's a style. And
Did
so
have some big hair back then.
Vicky had just told me. A bunch of them told me. They were telling stories about when they were first in evangelism and all their crazy things that happened. And I think she was praying or something.
It was her, Luann Carrico one.
Was praying. Yeah, one of them, and their heel got caught in their dress when they were trying to get up, and they'd pull them back down. And so I'm thinking that the preacher, whoever, song leader, whatever, was saying, "Bless them, Lord, bless them." And she was just trying to get her heel out of her hem of her dress, and I think she ripped her hem and anything. So anyway, I was going down the steps after we sang, and the steps were real steep, and my dress was real long, so my heel stepped on my dress and ripped, and I went forward. And Vicky caught me because they were right in front of me, and they were singing next, and she caught me, and she said, "Welcome to evangelism, sister." And then I had to go all evening long with an L in the back of your skirt. Yeah, that was embarrassing.
I know. That was such a scary story,
I
wasn't
didn't
it?
cry. It'll be okay. Gigi's okay. Gigi's okay.
Right.
My grandkids are very concerned about me.
He just doesn't like podcasts.
So, Brooke, do you teach your children the correct nursery rhyme songs?
I'm not allowed to sing them.
Because Mom did not teach us nursery rhymes wrong. We would sing
My
nursery
mother
rhymes and
must have
people
taught
would
me
be
wrong.
like, "What are you singing?" Well, you know,
After trying to
that's
teach
not
them,
words.
after trying to teach them powder cake, Tim will not allow me to teach them anything because
Well,
I sing it all
I
wrong.
learned mostly when Wesley married Leela because Leela knows like all the nursery rhymes.
Are you
Well,
sure they're right?
she grew up in
Are you sure
Germany,
they're
so
right?
that
Yeah.
there's that, right? So she
I don't think that your spouses are right.
right, because everybody else in the world is
It's
wrong.
everyone
and
but
Mom
us.
is the one that is correct,
Well,
right?
I came from Mitty Lee. Rella wouldn't have told me any nursery rhyme anyway. She just didn't. We didn't
No.
bother. We bypassed that, but Grandma would have. So I'm going to blame Grandma. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
good old Mitty.
Grandma Gigi, you're not allowed to teach our kids
What did I
nursery
not
rhymes.
see right? Patty cake. What's wrong with patty cake?
We don't sing the whole thing. We cut it off.
We only know like
That's
like
all I
half
know.
of it.
Roll them up, throw them in the pan. We don't pat it, mark
you
it,
pat it?
and
That
do-
reminds
Yeah,
me
you
of
did.
that
You
reminds
patted
me of
it.
when
I just don't
Aiden
remember.
was a baby.
Throw it in the now here's my thing. Throw it in the oven with the baby and me. Why is the baby in the oven?
It's not Wesley.
Have you ever heard of Hansel and Gretel?
Have you had a baby? Have you ever wanted to throw them in the oven?
Well, I have 3 right now.
This
that
is
like
why I
to
don't
throw
have
in.
babies.
Hello. He's so cute. You are so fun. He's looking at the baby right now. If you think he's looking at us,
He's
No,
not.
he's-
Yeah,
so
no.
wrong.
There's
He's
no
looking
interest
at my fingers and hands because he wants to chew on it.
No, yeah. So, all right, James, what's the most traumatic mom memory that you have?
I don't think I'm allowed to tell those ones. That's for sure.
I don't know if we can go there.
I'm asking Jamie first because she's right next to mom.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Boogins.
That's not.
It is because Mom taught us the word for fart is boogin. Yeah,
Because
I said
mom
that.
doesn't like that word.
Boogin. Boogin. So we grew up saying boogin, and people would look at us
I
like,
wasn't the only one. Your dad
what
was
the
a boogin.
world is a boogin? And we would say, we were like, oh, I guess it's a northern thing. And then we would go north, and they would be like, what is a boogin?
It's
Not a
movie.
Yankee thing.
When we grew up, we learned that it was a movie with these little things that
The
came up
80s.
to the fence or something, and Mom called them boogins, and we thought that that was what it was. She made us look like fools.
No, she made us weird.
Yes, she
Yeah.
did make us weird.
She made us weird.
I mean, it's awkward.
I think it's cute.
It's not cute, mom. It's
So
weird.
one, like mom, when we've talked about and it's been discussed about mom's own language on the podcast before, but like that's like the most famous of the words that mom uses in her vocabulary is chicken. But
Chicken.
then there's boogin. What are some of the other words that you guys remember that mom said?
Channel. What channel is that?
Oh yeah.
Anytime she would be trying to find like the hymn book or like the number.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, right.
I remember being in church and the song leader was leading, and mom out loud says, "What channel?" And I was so embarrassed. I'm like, could you just not?
Well, I was at the piano.
You
that's the only
probably
thing
know.
I
No, you weren't, because you were sitting next to me. Because I remember thinking, why would you yell that out? Because sometimes mom was so shy, and then the times mom should be shy and not speak at all is when she's like, "I'm going to say this out loud in front
And
of
you're
everyone."
like, I wish
If I was comfortable with the pastor and wife,
But the rest of the
would be
congregation is
fine.
sitting there, and
Yeah,
you're
it's
not
like-
even saying the
it's
right
like
words.
in church, and the pastor said something, and she was like, "No, you're wrong," and I was
Oh.
like,
no, he was wrong.
"He was wrong." However,
I didn't know I said that.
Privately
privately
say something after
Oh
service.
my gosh!
Private,
He said,
those are my favorite services.
not mine. 'Cause
Right?
I have
I love
anxiety.
those. I thought they were great.
was
I was like,
talking
yeah, get
about
a mom,
anxiety.
right? Like that was,
he has
I have
Armageddon
anxiety, so
and
no.
he had Armageddon and
The rapture,
the rapture
mixed up.
mixed up. And he had us dying.
No, when you're raptured out, your dead bodies are gonna fall on the ground, and the stink will be so great. We're like,
You
what
can
are you
smell
talking
it
about?
from 300 miles or whatever he said.
I hope
And
that preacher is
We're all, like
watching.
going in our Bibles, and Mom just goes, "You're wrong,"
I was stunned.
and his wife was literally right in front of Mom.
I was stunned. He was wrong. The
No,
whole
you
place
didn't say
got
it like
quiet.
that.
The whole place
No,
got
It
quiet.
was not like that.
So when we got
Not
after
quiet.
church and we got in the
You're
car,
wrong.
it was quiet in the car. And finally I said, "Did I?" And before I could even get the rest of it out, Jamie and Bill went to town. What is wrong with you? He was wrong. I'm like, I don't want to sit there. But anyway,
Well, everybody did know how Mom.
Hang on a
felt.
second for me.
you know, to my defense, that's when my older years. When
No,
you get older, I don't know what it is, you guys. You got to learn this when you get older.
so
But
we talked about boogins, but so we had this thing that we did whenever someone passed gas, whenever somebody farted, right?
I think we learned this
Or
from the Shattuck Center.
Whenever someone boogined, right? Where if you didn't do this specific action, you ate it.
When you ate it.
Right.
That was me. That was your father. I'm sorry.
No, you did it too, Mom.
Well,
Don't
I
even
did it
go
because I didn't
there.
want to eat it.
Does anybody remember what this action was?
Cherry
Oh
banana.
yeah, everybody. Okay, so why in the world
Sign for father.
is the thing that we did the American Sign Language word for
For
father?
father.
Because
I mean,
father.
If you don't say father in sign language, you've eaten a fart. All right, that's
Aiden.
that's
Eating a fart.
Yeah,
eating
but
a
you
fart.
guys were
Right? That's
singing.
that's how we did it. That's what
You guys
we
were up there
believe.
singing,
Right?
and you'd go.
No,
Right? No, it was
Brooke did it one time.
who
Brooke
was
was
it?
really little. She did it that one time.
Dad
And
preaching.
Dad was preaching, and he
Dad
just
was
went.
preaching.
And then we all went. And
Yeah,
everybody's-
we're all up there like
I'm
that.
acting like I'm moving my bangs over.
No, because then Dad went.
Right?
Praise the Lord.
I mean, you did have to find your own fun on the road.
You did. You had to entertain
Yeah, but we
yourself
had better
somehow.
fun. That you guys have to
Oh.
bring up. Well, maybe not.
Which what? What fun are we talking about, Mom?
Yeah, what fun? What fun
I
did we
don't.
have?
I
Mom?
didn't have any fun.
How about the time that
No, come on. Let's
No.
let's
let's
tell
talk about
mommy
the
before we
time
say
that
it.
that the preacher, and I think I can say his name, Bill Adams, took us on a hike before we went to dinner. And Mom was wearing a straight jean skirt, and then he got us lost. And we had to
Oh,
climb
Bill
up
Adams.
this wall to get out.
Yeah.
I remember that.
You remember that? Oh my goodness gracious! That was horrible. And then we went up the wrong place, and the
The ranger, or
ranger
whatever
was
was right there.
right
like,
there. And he goes, "What's the problem?" I'm like, "Listen, buddy, I went with these two guys. These
There were
kids, and they
there were
got us
so
lost.
many times with Bill Adams though, because that was just one time. So there was the time that he and Dad decided they were going to go on the lake and not tell anybody
go fishing
and go fishing on their boat,
on Dad's boat.
on
And I
Dad's
said,
boat, right?
He said, "We lost an oar
And
We
the
have
anchor.
oars?" He said, "Yeah." He goes, "But the reason we were having trouble was because when we dropped the anchor, we forgot to tie the anchor on." I go, "We have an anchor?" Every time he would say
You
something.
had
Yeah, he would say, "No, we,
He's like, no, we had.
we didn't even know," and they lost it all in one trip.
One trip. Which is ironically the same day that I fell out of their
you
tree.
fell out of the tree.
Yeah,
I was just telling that story. the other
which
day.
is where I got this beautiful
Crooked nose.
crooked nose. Yeah.
And I chewed you out. And you were
Listen,
laying there. Gene
I
chewed
was
you.
doing perfectly fine until Mom comes out and says, "You're gonna fall," and then I said, "Whoop," and then I fell.
I didn't
Right?
come out, did I? I think
You
you
guys
did.
did tell them to get out of the tree because they kept climbing in.
Well, there was a fence.
But I will say, Jeff
Metal
and
fence with
Billy,
spikes.
Jeff and Billy were egging him on.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Because I was an awesome climber, and then
You were an awesome climber.
someone yells up, "You're gonna fall!"
I didn't. I
And
didn't.
startled
I
me.
wasn't- We weren't out there when you fell because you guys came
An
in.
awesome climber wouldn't be startled, Wesley.
Says the lady with oxygen on right now.
Yes.
I mean,
He's
rude.
being really insulted today.
Things don't work.
It's not even turned on. I'm just kidding. I
We
mean,
have
That's what
listen.
that loud. Psh,
The really
in
bad
here
thing about her oxygen because it goes all over the place.
the
The
cord.
And I
Mom will
stand up.
just stand on it. I remember Wesley.
Amy's trying to breathe.
The last time Wesley and his family were here for Christmas, and Mom would be standing on it, and the kids would be like, "JJ, she can't breathe."
It doesn't clamp it down.
I'm waiting to get there with Liam, and Liam try to pick it up because he's gonna grab it and he's gonna start playing with it and he's gonna close that thing up
He is.
We're
It's
gonna
okay. I've got to keep my puppy from chewing it.
from chewing on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't chew on it, but I do stand on it. I'll be talking, and then it's like. And
I like how Mom has
well,
to
it'll be-
clarify the fact that she doesn't
Because-
chew on the
because-
oxygen.
What?
I don't
I
chew
don't
on
chew
it.
on it.
Said Mom had to clarify for everybody so that everybody knew that she wasn't the one chewing on the
He has a
oxygen.
little feral, so
Yes.
Right. Well, that's where Ziggy gets
feeding.
it. So.
But I'm getting my molars in.
All right. So we talked about embarrassing moments. We talked about so who were some of your favorite people when we
The
were growing
Cruises.
up, Mom? Like
Huh?
who were some of your favorite people when we were growing up? Like last week we talked about Shorty and May, right? Who were
My
some of
favorite
your
were Donnie and Sherry, but you know,
Mhm.
I had the best
Donnie and
fun.
Sherry.
And could be myself, the Peters,
yeah,
The
we
Peters,
said
the Peters. And then Brooke mentioned the cruises, of course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
like when we'd have our holiday breaks and weren't traveling, week to week, and
Well,
we'd
the
get
best-
Thanksgiving and we'd either go to their house or they'd come to ours. That was like
Well, the one time we
Always
were at Valley and my
playing laser
cousin,
tag in the church.
Yeah.
breaking our bed. Remember?
my cousin came in, Cliff, with his wife Hilda, and I went, Cliff, and Jose goes, Hilda. And we're looking at each other, and I go, "That's my cousin." He goes, "That's my cousin." Did not know our cousins were married to each other. So after that, you all were like, "We're related."
We're cousins. Yeah.
You just loved it.
Every once in a while, I'll still get like messages from like people who knew us growing up, and they'll say something about, "Oh, I always enjoyed you guys and your cousins," and I'm always like, "Our cousins." I'm like, "Oh, sure."
Well, in a long about
But
way.
in a lot of ways, I mean, with
They're
the
definitely
Cruzes,
family.
the Shaddixes, and the Diazes, you know, like we were so close with all of them. Like they are family to this day.
Yeah.
You know?
So one of my favorite memories with the Cruzes when they came over, I forget what it was,
so
but they
He's
we
never
were
around
playing,
boys till they come.
we were playing hide and seek.
In the church?
No,
Oh, in the house.
at the house. And Tito's we're in the laundry room.
Oh, I remember this.
He goes, "I think I can hide in there." And talking about the dryer, right? And then he couldn't get out.
No, that was me and Mickey.
That was you. No, that was Tito, wasn't it?
No, it was me and Mickey.
And we were in the dryer.
We both got in the dryer
together.
We were the smallest.
Smart.
It was in
Together.
Georgia.
Yeah. So.
And also, do you remember Brooke breaking her leg or whatever she did to her leg in Georgia, and she had crutches. She didn't really do anything. She found crutches, and she was, you know,
he wants to be part of the action.
Brooke. And she's like,
no, he tried to get my foot.
Running across the street to church with these crutches, you know, and Nick was running behind her. Brooke, let me help you. Doesn't he like pain?
Yeah, we had some good times with him. So, what were some of the other things we talked about last week that mom can? What were the Cliff and Hilda finding out that we had cousins that were married to each other? What were some of your other fond memories with them? With the Cruzes?
Some what?
Cooking.
No, where did you get cooking?
Anna's cooking.
Oh, Anna's cooking. Yes.
I missed the question because
all of them cooking, all of that family and their
rice and beans at Frank and Blanca's house.
Yeah. Oh man. So I used to go spend the afternoons over there with them, right?
Oh, what did everybody look forward to when we had a potluck meet at Valley? We had enough women to do rice and beans, and it was good. I just kept a plate of rice and beans, you know. So, yeah, they were absolutely good cooks.
What about besides the Cruzes? Who were your favorite evangelist family that we would link up with?
I loved the Barnetts. The Barnetts, Virginia and Harold. Those are the ones that we could laugh. Caricos. I just love to laugh, and I loved when you get with them because we were the new kids in the block a lot, and they would tell stories. We would tell them stuff, and they could outbeat us. I mean, you know, tell us stuff and make you feel better, and like, you know, you're like, oh, good, it's not just us. And when they would tell us that we would wake up, sometimes you don't know where you were. Did you wake up? I have actually woke up and thought, where are we? Because
Mom suggested us when we were traveling, you know, faster you go to sleep, faster that you'll get we'll be there, you know. So we got in the habit of when we get in the car, we'll go to sleep. But I have the worst time with that to this day. I'm in the car, and I'm like, all I want to do is go to sleep. Hello.
Yeah.
We're
Same.
grumpy.
Same. I think, like, for me, like with the Barnetts and the Nobles were probably some of our favorites because for that exact reason that we knew that we could be ourselves around them, you know, like.
Well, I think that's why we enjoyed it the most, because we could be ourselves.
Yeah, like we didn't feel like we were in this glass house anymore.
We didn't have to be the perfect children.
Yeah, we knew we could be the horrible people that we were, right?
We could be evil.
And but yeah, I mean, so I enjoyed them. I enjoyed getting with the Barnetts and with and it wasn't just the fact that we could be ourselves with them, but like the fellowship that we had was real and genuine.
Well, I loved it because it was like sometimes it was nice to look on the basketball court for the Duncans or wherever we were, especially late at night, especially like at the family camps and stuff. And there all you evangelist kids would be laughing and joking and playing around, and that would always.
I always remember it would get really exciting when we go to a different church. That one sometimes that we didn't recognize, and we'd see other evangelist friends that we actually knew. Like suddenly we'd see their bus or we'd see them there, and that was always like so comforting because it was always scary.
It was a
Week
relief.
to week going to a new church and having to remake friends.
About how going, like, people don't understand going to a different church every week and you're meeting new people every week, especially when you are shy and everything. That's really hard,
Yeah.
You have to make yourself be like, hi.
Yeah, but every once in a while you would see another church members that we'd just been at their church or we're going to be or we've been to their church show up at the other meetings, and that was always comforting and nice. Have a
I think I struggled a lot because I have like crazy anxiety, like really bad to where it like makes me physically sick, and I'd have to go in and like re-meet people and try to suppress that, and it was so
draining.
Yeah,
I had a hard time with that too.
I did too.
I did not. Yeah. I did not like going to Sunday school.
And people would come up to us and just want you to just be immediately like happy and talk to everybody. And I did at times, but sometimes it was really hard. Or the people that would come up because we were evangelist kids and we were homeschooled, and they'd be like, oh, let me ask you all your math facts. And let me ask you all these things that you don't. And you would get so stressed, and I would immediately like just freeze and get scared. And then you feel like a stupid child because you can't just off the top of your head answer everything they're saying and feeling drilled, and because they're trying to be funny or get to know you in front of people. But that was really hard for me was bouncing around each week, like going from Sunday morning, Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all week in church, sometimes morning and night, and then leaving Saturday, traveling all day to a new church, and then starting all over again Sunday. And
that's exhausting in itself because the travel was exhausting. Because sometimes Dad was not good about like, let's get all these meetings in the same area. He's like, hey, let's have this meeting and then let's.
I remember 18-hour trips.
Let's have an 18-hour trip and then have to go to church the next day.
Yeah, it was exhausting.
It was exhausting.
I do remember that like sometimes we would be fighting or doing something in the car and we get in a lot of trouble, and Dad was like, when we get there. So you're thinking the whole time, like, I'm going to get in trouble.
For an 18-hour trip.
Yeah. And then we get there and Dad would
Dad
forget,
doesn't
and you're
remember.
just like, did he forget?
And it's like, we're like, well, I ain't going to tell him. Like, that's.
Yeah, Jamie.
I made that mistake one time. Okay. One time I reminded, and then, did I forget?
She told me.
I remember that one.
Then, did I forget?
Did I forget?
The sweetest kids. They're just the best kids. And Jamie had stuck her tongue out at me. I had just turned.
Jamie was always the one.
And she was with the cruise, sitting behind me, and I told her, she was making noise, something. I turned around and said, "Stop." And then I heard it like, and I turned real quick again, and she went. And so then she almost had me talked out of it on the way home. Please, Mom, and it's like almost like she was going to convince me, like, no, I saw you stick your tongue out. But then when I got home, we got put everybody in bed. It was late, get things ready, and then somebody else came by like a week later or something and talked about it. And that's what your kids are. And I said, well, you have to be consistent. If you tell them you're going to do something, you're going to spank them or punish them, or or you're going to give them candy.
That little pinch that you had in church, and sometimes it was just a look, but that little pinch you had.
I didn't have to do that for very long though, because you guys got that one down.
My favorite was when Dad would tell Wesley,
love squeeze.
Dad would tell Wesley, you straighten up or you and me are going to hit the floor. And then Dad would turn around and walk away, and Wesley would get down and hit the floor.
Yeah, I act like I did that all the time. I didn't do that. I did that like one time.
I think one thing that people.
And now Dad's watching, and he's going to want to.
He's going to want to hit the floor.
He's going to want to hit the floor.
Hit the floor, Wes. Come on.
He's old.
Now you can take him.
Out, Dad,
I remember when some people ask what was probably the most difficult part of being a preacher's kid growing up, and I'm like, when your dad was in the pulpit and you're in the with your brother or something in the back, and you guys are messing around or fighting, and your dad sees you, and instead of waiting till after church, he calls you out in the middle of the service and then makes you come sit behind him on the pulpit.
Behind him on the pulpit, yes.
Do you remember when I got called out
by Dad?
That was not yes.
Yeah. I remember that was not a good night.
I remember thinking to myself, Dad, what are you doing?
Well, what happened was the preacher's wife looking at me, and then she said something to me, and then she put her nose up. She's real tall, and I'm real short, and she just pulls her head down and says, do I have any nose ornaments? I'm like, what? She meant boogers. Do I have any nose ornaments? And me and her busted out laughing. And then he said, what's so funny? And I said, I'll tell you later. And he kept saying, no, I think everybody would like to know. I didn't tell him. And I was giving it, and you could hear the whole place like, ooh, I think you better just move on.
What was that next point, Brother Chris? Huh? What was the next point?
So
Church is over.
He didn't just have me on him. He had the preacher's wife on him. She goes,
I
it's
know.
my fault. So then her husband was going to get. She's like, we going.
I remember thinking, like, Dad, what are you like? Dad, just stop, let it go.
I'm not-
Dad, don't like that's bad idea.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
And then I did a stare down, like I could do. So yeah,
Koi boy.
so I got called down too, but Koi. He's like, this is
Yeah.
about me.
Right?
It's not about him. He doesn't want to.
What was?
I didn't say anything. I was just.
I'm
sitting
actually
right there.
proud of
Go ahead.
Mom because normally she calls Wes Aiden and Aiden Wes. all
I
the
do
time.
that too.
Well, before Aiden came around, she called me Mike, Greg, Chris. Literally, I've been called Brooke, Jamie. I've been called Roy.
When your voice was like this.
So
I mean, she kind of calls all Jamie Westbrook, and then it would be chicken.
I've even been called Leslie
Probably.
after our cousin Leslie. So yeah, that's
Probably.
many times.
Yeah. We got to stay there a lot. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Where?
And Uncle
Mount
Roy.
Crest?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Her name is. I enjoyed. I guess I missed the road. I don't miss the traveling. I missed all the,
Right. Yeah.
the fellowship. And it was fun cutting up and laughing and with the So I do miss that.
I do miss
Yep.
aspects of ministry sometimes, and then sometimes when
Like,
my kids are involved in every ministry at church, and we have to take them to every ministry, and people start getting upset if my kids don't want to do it. One week I get flashbacks, and I'm like, oh. And I remember because we were the preacher's kids or the preacher's
We got volunteered
grandkids,
for everything.
we were expected to do everything and be at everything. And if we weren't at everything, it was like a big deal. And I used to get so frustrated, and I would think, not say it to them, but I would always think,
Well, sometimes
why
they-
aren't your children in this? But
I remember-
we're expected to be in
sometimes you
this.
guys were pulled and I didn't know, where are they? Oh, they're doing this for us.
Well, and people were genuinely kind of nasty to us if we didn't
Yeah.
want to be in choir or we didn't
Well,
want to be in something. It's like we're
got-
always in this.
I got chewed out one day by
Don't say
a
names.
church member.
Okay.
Because they asked me, they're like, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I said, I want to join the army. He's like, well, that's not what God wants for you. And I was probably about 15, 16 at the time.
Hmm.
And we're looking at him going, how do you know what God wants for me? Did he tell you? And man, he lit into me. But it's like, that's my life. I know where God wants to take me. I'm not new to this. I wasn't a novice about it.
I don't anybody about what direction your
People-
life is going to go.
I think that people. Well, I
they
think
knew-
people always think it's okay to get on to the preacher's kids. It's okay
Yeah.
to get on to the evangelist kids. And heaven forbid you get on to their kids or say anything
Because
about their
I
family.
was a
But it was
preacher's
always
kid.
okay to get on to us. And
I
we
was
let
a
them because we were.
Well, I was a preacher.
Conditioned.
And I was raised the
Mhm.
same way.
Exactly.
And I probably should have stood up a little bit more than I did because that's why
You end
we
up
didn't-
being
we
doormats
didn't talk
after a
back.
while.
We just,
Yeah.
and
And I think
everybody else's
sometimes that's
kids could
okay.
do anything and everything, and they could do it.
Yeah, well, like I at times I'm like I'm glad because I feel like I do have more respect for people. I care what people think, but then there's times when I start to see myself kind of revert to that life, and I'm like, oh, I don't want that for my kids either. Though I don't want them to be doormats. I want them to be able to say, no, I can't do it this week, because then we end up with so many commitments, and we're like, how are we going to do this? Because
I find
nobody
that-
wants to say no.
I find more and more that because of the way we lived our life, that now I am a little more, I stand up for myself a little more than I did before. If I don't want
Yeah.
to do it, I'm not going to do it, and you're not going to make me. And
I learned that I really like to be home too.
Like I'm a homebody. I
Yeah,
love
I say
to
I've
be
become
home,
a homebody.
but I think that's because we just were never home.
I think
Well,
so too.
I told him, I said, we didn't have a home. We lived in a van and in hotels
Everybody
or
else
people's
was at home.
homes. And
Christmas was the hardest time for me. when
so
I
now
drove.
that we own a home, I'm like, I don't want to leave. Can I just stay here?
And the hardest thing for me was when we go to people's homes and I'd see all their decorations and everything set up and everybody had their places and we didn't. And we had Christmas was always harder for me. I think for some reason I always
I get that.
I couldn't do anything. I could decorate with a smelly, the scented Christmas tree
air freshener.
But
I always said COVID had me living my best life because I didn't have to go anywhere or do anything. I was like, this is how I like to live.
Well, I think what it did for me was, one, it taught me to appreciate. Like it gave me a heart for service, right? I don't feel like I'm reaching my full potential if I'm not doing something ministry wise or serving.
Same.
But two, it also made me understand what ministry really is and not what people try to make it out.
Glamorous like people think it is.
Right. I know that part of ministry.
I gotta go somewhere, but you guys keep it up. And then
right. But like I also know that with ministry, if you need to go part of ministry is if you need to go scrub a toilet, you got to go scrub a toilet, right?
Right.
But I also know that ministry isn't. I'm not just going to show up to your house at 3 a.m. so that you can tell me about all your life problems just because you feel like that's what I need to do. Like there's a time and a place for that, but it's not every day.
Right.
Right. If it's not like just because you're having an anxiety attack doesn't mean that that's an emergency situation.
Right.
I have anxiety attacks too, and I deal with those on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've learned to deal with them, and if you have to if you have to call your pastor at 4 a.m. because you don't know how to get your heart rate down, call the hospiel. They'll help you out more than your pastor will.
Go to the emergency room.
Do something like that. But I think they have. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place where that kind of thing is necessary, and pastors need to do that, and they need to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But their kids shouldn't ever be a part of that part of it.
I agree with that.
Right. And when you demand that their kids become a part of that, you're asking too much of that family.
Or when you're mad at the pastor and you take it out on their kids.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
that situation. Many times where somebody would be mad at our dad and then they would start saying
treat us poorly, or they thought we were spoiled because our grandpa was the pastor or our dad was the pastor, and so therefore they would treat us terribly.
Which was kind of true as far as the grandfather being a pastor, right?
But we
were a little spoiled, but we did it. We did a lot. I mean,
we were spoiled, but
I mowed the grass, I painted the buildings,
we cleaned the bathrooms.
My best friend.
I went and took all the communion cups out of all those seats, and I licked all them out and saved them.
But my best friend, Jamie, you know this. My best friend from the time I was like 16 to 17 years old was Howard.
Oh, I loved Howard. I was thinking about
Howard,
the maintenance guy at the church, right?
Had that Volkswagen bug, and he would play the Beach
blast
Boys,
the Beach
yard
Boys.
work
Yeah,
at the
right.
church.
I remember that.
So, but yeah,
Howard and Brother Lynn.
He was like in his 70s,
favorites.
right? But that's who I hung out with all day because, he was the maintenance guy, and I was attached to his hip because I was just doing work around the church, right?
Because let's be honest, Papa would pay you if you helped him.
He did. But I mean, it was expected that's what you were going to do.
Right.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah.
But it was good for us. I will say sometimes it was really good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. But my point is, there's a time for that to happen, and there's a time for the families to just be like, okay, no, we're gonna take a step back and make the family a priority because you need to do that sometimes.
And in ministry, a lot of times, it's hard for a pastor to put his family before
it is because
else.
There's such an expectation that it's almost like a mechanic in his car, right? The expectation is, I pay you to fix my car, so you need to fix my car first.
But then there's the whole thing. Well, his family's not in order. How can he be doing this or that? Well, you got to give him time to get it.
Yeah, yep.
You got to give him that.
Guys, you're talking over the baby. He's trying.
I know,
I'm
right?
sorry, Coy.
He can't reach his foot. Try and get that foot.
But I think we're hitting a 40-minute mark, so I think it'd be a good time to.
Yeah, and he's grumpy.
Roll out, yeah.
Just like your mama, aren't you?
Who Who
That's
is
James.
the grumpy
Okay,
one
I
in the
know.
family?
Eric
James
told
is
me
yours.
that one time everybody told him that they called me cranky Jane, and he was like, "That's terrible." And then, like after we got married and everything, he came to mom and was like, "I understand why you said poor cranky Jane now."
I have no idea what you said because he's so loud.
Well, you don't need to know.
Yeah, it's an inside joke. Right. Well, we're gonna end it there, folks, and hopefully you enjoyed the Carrie Kid takeover. 2 episodes in a row, really.
2 weeks in a row, yeah.
2 weeks in a row of growing up chestnut. So we'll see you all next time.